Now, as the more observant among you may have noticed, there's actually two doors leading into which here. That little door there leads to the escape key dungeon. I'll need two of you to begin the game accused of witchcraft. You will be tied up to prevent you escaping, but you will not be passive observers. You'll have to work with your teammates to try and break you out of the dungeon in about the first 20 minutes or so. And as well, I've got a little bit of Geordie history for you just before you get started. So just out the window there is St Andrew's Church. It's the oldest church in Newcastle city centre. The stones date back over 1,000 years and there's evidence of a wooden structure underneath it from the 8th century. Now, when we got the escape key about 5 years ago now, we got access to the church's archives. And we discovered that the northernmost grave plot, located right outside this window here, was used as a mass burial ground for the unmarked graves of witches executed right here in Newcastle during the witch trials that occurred in 1650. Now, during the 17th century, Newcastle was run by a very hardline religious puritanical council. A bellman would walk through the streets ringing his bell, asking the citizens of Newcastle to be good, strong Christians and deliver him people that they believed to be practitioners of witchcraft. Now, there's no shortage of witchcraft accusations in this era. There was plague, there was famine, there was war, there was pestilence, maybe your crops didn't grow, maybe your family members died young, maybe you got sent off to fight in a war abroad and you didn't see your family again. Life was very difficult for the people in Newcastle, and being so deeply superstitious, they used witchcraft almost as a scapegoat upon which to blame the bad events that occurred during their lifetime. Now, many different things could make you more susceptible to an accusation of witchcraft. For example, if you had a physical deformity such as a hunchback, maybe you were a bit of a recluse from the community, maybe as a woman you didn't have a husband, even something as innocent as going into the forest to collect herbs and make herbal medicines which would actually help the community. Anything major to minor happening, a child dying to a hen not laying an egg, it was likely somebody would be accused of witchcraft. Now, if you know the next about 30 seconds in that direction there, that was the prison in those days. That was Newgate Prison. So you'd be taken there, you'd be given a trial. That is if you were, faced with a witchcraft accusation. And it wasn't exactly a fair trial, it wasn't honest, but it was a trial. And if you were found guilty, you'd be taken to Gallowgate up at St James's Park. Gallowgate obviously gets its name from the gallows that were here in this era. So you'd be taken to Gallowgate, you'd be hung until you were dead, and then buried in an unmarked grave in the consecrated burial ground right outside this window here, with 10-inch iron nails driven through your knees to stop you rising from the dead. It's a very dark tale indeed. I've got a short film for you here featuring a little bit of information about the room itself. It's nothing you need to memorise. Do just pay close attention because there's one little bit of information in there that could help you in the room. A truly dark tale indeed. But enough of the past. You are the most recent bunch of unfortunate souls accused of witchcraft and delivered to me by the good Christian citizens of Newcastle. Now, I know of course that not all accusations are truthful, but I am the witch finder of Newcastle upon Tyne. I have an infallible instinct for sniffing out dark magic. And I believe among you there is a genuine practitioner of the dark arts, a promulgator of witchcraft, and someone in league with the devil. Who is it? You there, on your feet, up here. Now we are a civilized city, of course. We will offer you the chance to a fair trial, a chance to prove your innocence, or more accurately for me, to prove your guilt, using my most scientific methodology. Now, if you were watching the video closely, you'd know that this is a bodkin. If I prick your flesh and you bleed, you're just a mere mortal. You're not protected by any dark magic, and you will be set free. However, if you don't bleed, that shows you're protected by the devil himself, and you will be hung for your crimes. And not a single drop of blood, as you can see. Now, this was a genuine method used by people called witch prickers in this era. As you can see, it was a retractable needle. That is not just because I want a good TripAdvisor review at the end. 1-star Games Master stabbed me. No, this is a historically accurate representation of what would happen to innocent people like yourself. You see, if I can deliver you to the magistrate, I collect my 20 shillings. Doesn't matter what happens to you, you get hung or whatever. It's not important to me. But you are genuinely guilty of witchcraft, and if any more evidence is needed of your crimes, please place your hand on top of this crystal ball here. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to step into the dungeon. Right, you are all obviously innocent then. Do you fancy popping off to the pub? I don't really care what you do now. No, I'm kidding. We do offer you now revisiting time if you would like to visit the accused. If you'd please come up here, place your hand on the Holy Bible, promise your good faith and place your hand on your heart, and then step into the room for me. Thank you very much.